Hello and welcome to Emily Kate Made This. I am Emily Kate and I'm coming to you from Berlin in Germany. This is my first episode, so welcome. I'm very nervous, so hopefully I don't make too many mistakes and I get everything out that I want to. I have many notes, many notes. So let us begin. Deep breaths. I basically wanted to start this channel because I really want to connect with other knitters and other sewists and crafters and general this, that and the other. Since lockdown, dare I say that word, I learnt to knit and I learnt to sew, and I've been making several things, many things, and I really want to be able to share my makes with people that have an interest, whereas my poor husband, who has no interest, has been listening to me go on and on about yarn and fabric for a good 1.5 years now, and he really doesn't care, bless him. But I know that you guys love yarn and I know that you love fabric, so I thought this would be a nice way to connect with some other people who are into the same things. And since we're not really moving around or going anywhere particularly, YouTube seems to be a very good place to start. So let's begin. Let's start with what I'm wearing because I made it all. I'm so proud. So the first item is this top. This is a top by, let me check my notes. This top is the Bamboo Summer Top by Ricci, not sure. It suggests to be made in bamboo, obviously, but I actually made this in this Drops Belle. It's a blend of cotton, viscose and linen, and this color is number 2. I have no idea why I have this. I kind of went on a mass like, oh my god, I can buy all the yarn, now I know how to knit, and just bought a bunch of random yarns. So this one recommended to use 4.5 millimeters in the pattern, and I think I used 4 because the yarn ball says to use 4, but it actually did come out a little bit too like gappy, I don't know, not so tight as I would have preferred, but after washing it actually came out alright. It's made bottom up, and you start with this like open double wing pattern, which repeats I think maybe 4 times or something, and then you continue up and you divide. I'm looking at my notes. You divide until the armholes, you divide, and then you do the back and the front, and you go backwards and forwards. Sorry, that probably didn't make any sense. Let's hope I improve with my explanations. I knitted the extra small size, and I forgot to tell you that the pattern is free. Yes, gotta love a free pattern, and I really like it. I'd like to do another one actually. Yeah. And the next thing I'm wearing is sewing related, and these are actually the boxer short patterns by Melly Sews. She has a YouTube channel, and she has a YouTube on how she puts them together, and I think if you subscribe to her channel or subscribe to her newsletter, you can get the pattern for free. And these are the boxer shorts. And I used some old fabric. I mean, I say old, it's like 1.5 years old, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't exist anymore online, because every fabric that I've ever bought, I bought and then it disappeared, and I've never been able to buy it again. I'm pretty certain this one came from a German website called stoffe.de. It's a viscose, but it's a completely different viscose to the kind that I know, which is like really drapey and fluidy. This one's very thin, but it's kind of like really thin cotton. And it was awful to sew with because I had no idea what needles I needed to use or any of that back then. The thread was getting stuck and looping, and it was a nightmare. But several weeks, several months into my sewing journey, I learnt about different needle sizes and that you can use thin needles. Thin, fine. And that made the world of difference, because the next time I used this fabric, it went straight through my machine, no problems. So, one learning experience. So that's what I'm wearing. I think we'll go on to finished objects. I'm not a super fast knitter, and I'm also aware that I left my finished object in the other room, so I'm gonna go get that. Oh, so many dramas. My plant fell over as soon as I opened the door. Oh, it's all propped up, it's all good. So, finished object is actually not this, although I did make this. It's pretty cute. This one is for my mum for her Christmas present. Like a little project bag with cats. I think she's going to love it. And another project bag. Here we go. I made these fingerless mittens. They are the Cloudburst mittens by Arienne Gray. Oh, you probably can't really see it. I'll try and insert pictures. They are made using the Rauma Finull yarn. There we go. I love them. I really want to keep them, but they actually came out a little bit big. I did use the recommended needle size, which is a 3, but I really needed to go down. My mum has much bigger hands than me, so fingers crossed these will work out for her. But the pattern was really nice to follow. It's also free. Gotta love a free pattern. And the yarn is the Finull PT2, and this color is 4078. I'll try and write any of the patterns and the names and the colors in the show notes below, because it's easier than going backwards and forwards and trying to hear the numbers. And I'm probably speaking really fast, so yeah, I didn't swatch, so that was my problem there. If I'd swatched, I would have realized that they would be the wrong size, but I still think that my mum's hands will fit nicely in these. So yeah, that's the finished object, and I loved the pattern so much that I knitted them again. And this time it's kind of a half finished object, because I'm knitting this one for my friend in the UK. This time I used the same yarn, but a 2.5 millimeter needle, and they've come out a lot tighter, and she has probably my size hands, so there we go. And I love them. I really, really love them. Oh gosh, I really should have taken my nail varnish off before this. I haven't worn nail varnish in like 10 years, I think. And last week I just randomly thought, I'm gonna wear nail varnish. And I'd bought this organic nail varnish some 4 years ago and then just never used it. And now I have, and it's all chipped, and I've put it on YouTube. Sorry, YouTube. So that's technically a half finished object and a whip, because it's also currently being continued right here in this bag for the next one. I'm quite a slow knitter. I mean, I have quite a lot of time to knit, but knitting is actually kind of painful. I have to take a lot of breaks. My hands get really, really sore. I do a lot of stretches and lots of breaks, but I know my limits and I can't do too many knitting projects for too long. So it takes quite a while and I'm okay with that. I have sewing and other things to keep me entertained. So that is one thing. I'm going to religiously stare at these notes because I'm not used to this whatsoever. So my next is, oh yeah, I forgot to mention that the needles that I'm using for the mittens are the Chiagus. They're the shorties, they're mini set, and I really like them. I have the interchangeable needles, this set, that has, what are they? Sizes 2.75 millimeters or US size 2 up until US 15 or European 10 millimeters. But I tend to do quite a lot of small projects like socks and mittens and also sleeves. So the shorties are really good. I got the smaller one. Actually, I think they come in both sizes. Useful information, both sizes. What does that mean, Emily? Here they are. So they're 2 inch and 3 inch, or 5 centimeters and 8 centimeters. And then they come with 5, 6 and 8 inch cables, or 13, 15 and 20 centimeter length cables. So currently I've got 2 projects on the go. I've got some socks on them and these mittens on them. I say socks. It's kind of a lie. I bought the Magic Toadstool sock pattern by Stoneknits and I love this pattern. But I'm very new to colour work and it didn't quite go to plan. The sock looks great. I love it. I love the colour work. You can't see everything coming through except my terrible nail varnish. You can't see it all. Like my first ever attempt was terrible. But when I went to put them on, it's too tight. It does not go over my ankle or my heel. So I decided I would turn them into mittens because I had done this much before I realized, and there was no way I was ripping all of that out and starting again. So I used the same like thumb gusset from the mittens I just showed you, and I added that in here. So maybe it's easier if I just... So they're going to be long, long arm warmers, and then I'll just keep going up to about here, I think. I'll do some ribbing and save them because I can't rip them out. I just can't. So they were supposed to be a present for my mum for Christmas. So I'm going to make the next one, finish them off. I'll use them during the winter and I will start again on her socks. And the problem I'm having is what size needles do I use? The pattern is basically, if you want this size, you use 2.25, this size 2.5, this size 2.75. So it's always 64 stitches no matter what size needle, and I measured it correctly, but obviously I need to change something. I might have to change this and make that 2.5 and do the rest in 2.25. I'm not sure because my mum has a lot bigger feet than me, like wider. They're not necessarily bigger, but they're wider, and I'm not sure if they will go over her heel, even if I do them just on 2.25. So that I have to figure out. But that is a work in progress. And the yarn is Arwetta Classic. I can't remember the colour, so I'll write that down below, but it's such a gorgeous colour. I love this colour. And on the subject of socks, I have another half-finished object / work in progress, because what is it called? Second sock syndrome, I think it is. I started another sock pattern by the same designer, Stoneknits, and it's the Alice's Easter Bunny socks. This was my first, or still is actually, my first colourwork project, and it was a challenge. I'm not sure why I chose a sock which has to be like the perfect fit as my first one. It is very cute. I don't have sock blockers, so forgive me. I also haven't blocked them, so they do look a bit strange without being on a foot or on a blocker. And I cheated because I should have done another repeat here, but I was just done. I was just done with this colourwork and I needed them finished. They were sitting in my pile for months. I started them back in March and they just sat there looking lonely and unloved. And I finished them about a month ago, just this one, and I've cast on the second one, so maybe they'll be ready by next Easter, which is what they were supposed to be for. But my oh my, that's a lot of colourwork and a lot of catching floats, and my hands were dying. As I said, my hands get quite sore, but it was such an addictive pattern and I just wanted to keep knitting more, like one more row, and every time I'm like, ow, ow, ow. So I had to take a break. But I have cast on the next one. These ones do fit, but they do stretch out quite a lot when I try to get them over my heel. I don't know if that's normal. Oh, sorry, I was just knocking the table. I don't know if that's normal, but we shall see how they wear. One thing I did have a problem with was the heel. I did not like this type of heel. I've only done one other, the heel in gusset, and I do like an eye of partridge backwards and forwards. This one is called a no wrap, what is it? A no wrap short row heel. I am not a fan. I think it's a lot of numbers. There's a lot of making sure you've got everything even, and it came out so loose, like really loose, which is actually one of the reasons I'm nervous about going up a size on the other socks that I showed you, because if this is on 2.5, it's so, can you see? I'm not sure. But yeah, I still love them, and when they're done and they're both done and they're blocked, perhaps everything will smooth out and it will be a lot better. Where's your home? Your home is here. My finished object in the sewing section is my Marcel dress by Chalk and Notch. I will insert a video or pictures somewhere here to show you, and it's beautiful, if I do say so myself. It has a small bodice piece here, and then the rest of the dress just drops and has a center front and a back, and then side panels that go down, and they're all gathered. You'll see in the picture. And the first time I saw this, I thought it was beautiful, but so much fabric. And I was so nervous that I would do it wrong and I'd waste all that beautiful fabric. So I actually made the tank. It comes with a tank pattern and the dress pattern, and you can do the pattern in a tank size, a smaller dress, or a long dress, and what are they, mini and midi size. So I chose the tank just to make sure I got the right size before I put all that fabric into it. And yeah, the tank worked out well. Admittedly, it's not the most flattering on me. I think it's tight here and then just drops, and I kind of look like I could be pregnant. But it's also the fact it's made with linen, and so this particular linen is quite stiff. So I assume over time it will become a bit looser and flowier and maybe look a bit less pregnant. But I still really like it, and it was the right size. It was size 2 that I chose, and so then I braved it and I made the Marcel dress, the full length one. It is actually designed for somebody 5'7". I am 5'2" at a push, and probably 5'1". And so yeah, I probably should have taken some length off, but I love it. It's so big and long. I felt like a princess when I put it on. But it's really nice. And that's also linen. That fabric is called cerise, and it looked like it would be kind of a dark, reddy mauve, but when it arrived, it was more like hot pink, kind of. But I've warmed to it. At first I was like, ooh, that's really not the colour that I wanted. But no, it's grown on me now. And a lot of my friends have said, wow, that colour looks so good. So I'll just take the compliment and wear the dress. I have a few more sewing projects that I would like to do. And I was thinking, you know, with knitting, you cast new things on, or you have cast on itis where you just can't stop casting on new things. I'm a bit guilty of that at the moment. Oh, my plant has just fallen over. Oh, sorry, plant. What is the equivalent of casting on something in sewing? Because I have all these cast-ons that I want to do in sewing that I have lists. I have lists and lists and printouts, and it's ridiculous. I really don't need that many dresses. Or do I? So, yeah, tell me in the comments, what is it? Is there a name for it when you have like the equivalent of casting on a project? Or is it just sewing projects I want to do? Yeah, my next sewing project that I want to do is the peppermint wide strapped maxi dress. I'll try and insert a picture from their website. It's really long, again, it's probably for someone 5'7", but it's really long and just drops, and it has like a slit up the side, and it's beautiful. And I have some really nice fabric that I'll try and show you. Again, more clips if I can figure that out, and I'll add that in. And that is what I would like to do. So since this is my first episode and I don't really have a rhythm yet, and I don't really have any idea what I'm doing, I think I'll finish this off now. Thank you for watching if you've got this far, and hopefully I'll get a bit more used to it and a bit more calm, and we can chat, we can connect. You can tell me what you're making, because I love talking about everything that people are making. I watch so many YouTubes just to watch what other people are making. So let me know what you're doing. Maybe you're making the same things, or you've made the same things. I would love to know how you got on. And I think I'll see how it goes if I make a sewing podcast. People call them podcasts, but I think podcasts are what you listen to. You don't watch. Vlogcast. Anyway, maybe I'll do everything all in one, like knitting and sewing, or maybe I'll do separate ones. I'll see how it goes and how comfortable I am and how much you guys like the content. If you do, you know the drill. Press subscribe and like and all that jazz. And I will see you next time. Thank you very much. Bye.